What's going on, guys? Got another Distortions Unlimited mask to show you guys. Um, this one, I've wanted since I was a kid. Back in the 90s, I'd always see it in the back of Fangoria magazine. I love Fangoria. I have, stacks and stacks of Fangoria magazines that I've just been collecting for years. All different ones, I love the cover art they have on them. Freddy. I just love all the cool ads and things like that. But yeah, so I have stacks of Fangoria. I still collect them. I still get back issues off eBay and things like that. But when I was a kid, anytime I'd come across a Fangoria, I didn't have that many of them, but I would. Anytime I'd see one anywhere, I'd try to pick it up. And I loved looking through them. And one of the things I loved the most was inside you'd always find ads for masks. And you just don't see that anymore. Ads for things in magazines you could order like they used to, But they'd always have Distortions Unlimited masks. They had different lines of different masks. And one mask in particular I would always see in lots of different Fangorias. I would always come across this mask, and it's the jack-o'-lantern right there. Classic devil. Cool ones. This issue is a 1990 issue. So this one came out in 1990. They've had this same ongoing. They have lots of different ads for different lines of their masks, but they've had this same particular picture and ad in some of the the late 80s catalogs all the way to through the 90s. This is a 1990 catalog. It still has the ad in it. And I finally was able to pick one up for myself. Again, I've wanted this since I was a kid. My parents never would cough up the money or order anything through a magazine like that. They just didn't trust it or whatever, and I don't blame them, I guess. But I finally have one now, all these years later. Got this off an eBay seller who stumbled upon a huge score of vintage Distortions masks. So I got this off him for a good price. It says in the back there, 1988 Distortions Unlimited. That's when they came out with this mask. It was in the 88 catalog, and then they made it for a while. And I think they stopped for a couple years, I believe, and then they reintroduced it. I'm not positive, I think it was the Resurrection line. They started making this mask again, and that was in the 90s, the mid-90s, I believe, 93, possibly, maybe 95, maybe even 98, maybe it was in later in the 90s. But yeah, originally in 88 they came out with them, but this is the 90s, they started making them again in the 90s, and that's what this copy is. Very, very cool. Just that cool design. Again, it's a mass-produced mask. It's got a decent thickness. The rubber is still really soft, really quality, considering it's got some age to it now. This one still has the tag. Still has the tag on it. It's a decent sized tag. A lot of Distortions masks in the 90s have this tag. There'll be different sizes, smaller ones for smaller masks, bigger for larger masks, but basically this design, the tag. It has the care instructions in the back. I always like it. It says, don't turn out the lights. Kind of cool. Got the stem. I don't know who sculpted this mask. I'm not exactly sure. But again, it's been around since the late 80s. I would always see it in the back of Fangoria magazine. Always thought it was a really cool one to have. I've never picked them up until now. Again, there he is right there. You could order it right through the magazine. But very cool. Glad to finally own one. And again, with a few other Distortions masks, if you go on eBay or online and look for this mask, you'll find several sellers that sell this mask. They'll have 10 or 15 of them in stock. They're not old Distortions masks. I believe Distortions sold the rights of the molds to another company, like Ruby's or something like that. So you'll see this, and there'll be a stock photo. It won't be actual photos, it'll be a stock photo of this mask. And they'll have several in stock, and you can buy it. but it's not made by Distortions. It'll be made by a different company. It's kind of like a knockoff. So be careful if you're looking for this mask. Make sure it's an actual Distortions Unlimited mask. Again, originally came out in the 80s. Then they did the Resurrection line, redid it, made them in the 90s. That's what this is from, the 90s Resurrection line. The eyes are really cool. This is wearable. I'm not going to throw it on. I never really planned on wearing it. It's just one of those masks that I've been on this Distortions kick lately. I've always liked Distortions Unlimited masks. I've had some, way back when I was a kid that I didn't take very good care of. I stored them the wrong way and they ended up dissolving and rotting. And they got back into mask collecting later on in life. And I've got, quite a few masks collected over the years, but I didn't have many Distortions masks. And I really love Distortions Unlimited. Always been a big fan of, Distortions, but just never picked them up. Partially because they're kind of hard to find now. Finding these older masks like this. So I was really fortunate to get on with the seller on eBay who's been selling a lot of them. I don't know if he has any more left, but he's sold. He's had multiple copies of this mask, a bunch of other ones. I have some other ones I'll do videos on too, but this is just, a classic mask. The Distortions Unlimited Jack-o'-lantern mask. Again, you can go through, the 80s and then the 90s copies, back issues of Fangoria magazine, and you'll find several different issues with ads, Distortions ads in it, and you'll see this mask in there. So I've always been looking at pictures of this mask since I was a kid, and I've always wanted a copy for myself. So glad to finally have one. So yeah, the Jack-o'-lantern by Distortions Unlimited. And that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Later.